everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another weekly crafting update. In this video I am going to be showing some cross stitch, crochet, because I am working on a crochet project that is almost finished, and I will also be talking about books and possible video games at the end of the video, which I'm excited because it's almost the Steam summer sale, so I am hoping to get some more games for my Steam Deck during the Steam summer sale. Anyways, starting off with cross stitch. What projects will I be working on? So the first project that I'll be working on this coming week is Autumn Harmony, artwork by Maxine Gadd, and this is where I am, and it's going to be hard to see progress on her because, okay, it's in the hoop. I was like, why is the side not coming out? But it's trapped in the hoop. Anyways, so I am stitching right now Extreme Cross Country by Color, and I am stitching on the color 498, which is a bright red. I think it's this red right here. No, that's orange. Where is the red? Am I even... The red is, I think, right in there, kind of, maybe. There's patches of it. Anyways, we know what DMC 498 looks like, most of us, because it is a bright Christmas red. And I still have 1,300 stitches left of that color before I get to move to the next color, because I think I am going to pick another color and stitch like black or something next, because there's not a ton of black in Autumn Harmony, but I do want to get the black out of the way. And so I'll be working on this chart daily-ish, so might not be every day, and I'll be trying to do about 150 to 200 stitches a day, and then I will show my progress on her at the end of the week. The project that you might be seeing sooner is Templar Prophecy, which I ended up putting a bunch of my Whipco pieces, which Whipco is by Jessie Marie Does Stuff, if you would like to watch a video that explains Whipco, but I'm behind on Whipco, and so I put my Whipco pieces on an app called Spin the Wheel. It's available on Android and I think Apple, but I have Android, so that is what I know for sure it's on. And it's literally just called Spin the Wheel app. And so I put my Whipco projects on there, and then I also put a project that I would like to get finished this summer on there, which is Northern Lights. And last week it picked the chart Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Sampler, and my goal on this piece right now is to try and get page 3 finished before I spin the wheel again, and so I need to finish this section like right here to right here. So I need to finish all of that, and this is being stitched on a 22 count that I dyed myself using DMC 666, and it's 1/1 full cross, so it's kind of taking me a little bit to get that section finished, but I'm going to hopefully get this section finished this week, and then I would get to spin the wheel and get another project. And when I spin the wheel, I will then go into Pattern Keeper and try and make a goal for that project, and I would like to work on each project for a little bit before I move on to something else, because I would like to be able to actually see some progress happening on these Whipco pieces. So that's my plan for cross stitch. For crochet, I am currently working on the Flower Power Wrap cardigan, which is on the Yarnspirations website for free, and it uses the Flower Power Granny Square yarn from Red Heart. The name is like a mouthful. There's just so many words. And here's where I am on this little cardigan. I have it all seamed together. I have all the ends woven in, but I need to do the cuffs and then also do like the edging around the opening and then on the bottom. And then this cardigan will be done, which I am excited about. The yarn colors are Black Dahlia and Daisy Dew from the Red Heart Flower Power Granny Square yarn. So I'm excited to get this finally finished, because I started this I think in like April or something, and I've just had squares floating around for the last few months, and I would like to get some of my projects finished this summer, my older crochet projects, and I have a knitting project. Clear them out of the way, and then I would like to make, you know, some other things like a tank top or something like that once I finally get things finished. But I will be back when I have an update on Templar Prophecy, most likely, because that is, I think, what I'm going to work on next. While I am working on Templar Prophecy, I will most likely be listening to an audiobook, And I think I'll be listening to more Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I am loving that audiobook so much. It's like video game themed. It's in the category like lit RPG or something like that, and I love it. There is like an AI announcery voice that he hears through like the game, and it reminds me of Claptrap. Like the things it says and the way it sounds reminds me of Claptrap from Borderlands. And so I'm having a really good time with that audiobook, and I will be back though once I have done some crafting. I am back, and it has been like a week since my intro clip, so it's currently, I think, Friday, June 27th, and I've only worked on one cross-stitch project, which is Templar Prophecy, and I still have not finished page 3. So tonight, it's already like 7:45. I'm going to try and get this page finished tonight though, so I still need to finish this little section down here, but I think that this area starts to get to where it has more areas that aren't stitched. So like there was like all these long lines going in this area, but I'm pretty sure that there's more like outlined things, so it's not as densely stitched once you get to this area. So I'm hoping it will go faster and that I can get page 3 finished on Templar Prophecy. I have not worked on Autumn Harmony like at all since my last video clip. I just haven't stitched that much, and when I was stitching, I was really wanting to get Templar Prophecy the page finished because WIPGO numbers for July were called, and so that means that at the end of the video I'm going to do it, I need to add more WIPGO projects to my wheel that I'm spinning and add them to my little summer goals list that I've been working through. Which, speaking of, I haven't been stitching a ton, but I did finish 2 more books off of Okay, one of the books was off of my summer like reading list that I made, and then one of the books was just a library book that my brother said that I should read. So I finished 2 books in the last week, which I'll talk about at the end of the video, and like their little sections that I'm trying to make for them. And then I also finished the crochet flower power wrap cardigan, which I will show at the end. So it has still been a productive week, just not necessarily productive in terms of cross stitch, but I will hopefully be back, and in the next update when I come back, this page will be finished, hopefully by tomorrow, which is Saturday. It is now Saturday morning, and I am back with a very exciting update, which is page 3 on Templar Prophecy is finished. So yay, I am so happy to be done with that page. It went down to here, and then I had to do over in this section also, and now it's done. Very excited. I think I went from like 21% to 25-ish%. Oh, it was over 25%, and it took like 2,000 stitches to get that page finished. And once I got to here, it wasn't that bad because you can see there's a lot more empty negative space that's not stitched, but this section right here, I was not looking forward to it, and I think that this middle section has more densely stitched areas, so the next time I work on this I'm going to go over to the page 4, and that page looks like it's easier. Like it has like some unicorns and things like that that look like they'll be a lot easier to stitch. So I finished that WIPGO goal for that piece, and it's still on the board, I think 1 or 2 more times, so it could possibly get spun later in the summer, but I already spun the wheel, and I will insert the video clip here of me spinning the wheel to pick my next piece, and it ended up being Walking in the Rain, which was on the WIPGO board for an artisy piece. And so I went and I looked in Pattern Keeper to see where I was at on Walking in the Rain, and I made kind of like 2 goals for this piece. So number 1, I want to take it from, it's at 8.75%. I want to get it to at least 11% before I switch to something else. And I want to be working on these 2 pages right here. So I was looking in Pattern Keeper, and page 1 is almost finished, but there's this gap here that's not stitched in, and then this page here is like close-ish to being finished. So my goal is to focus on these 2 pages, at least finish page 1, and then also keep working on this page and see how much I can get filled in. This is being stitched on a, I think this is 25 or 28 count. 28, I'm pretty sure. I don't even know. And it's 2/1 tent stitch, which is a half cross. And so I will be working on this piece, and then I think I'll end the video after I meet my goal on walking in the rain. This is a piece by Artisy, and I am stitching the large cropped version. So there is like 4 different versions. I think there's like a regular size, and then there's the cropped, and then there is large, and then large cropped. And this is the large cropped version. And the thing with Artisy though is their large charts are not super sized like Heaven and Earth Designs, where Heaven and Earth Designs, if you buy a super size, one side of the chart will like automatically be 999 stitches wide or tall, whichever it is, and that is not the way that Artisy charts are. So the large chart is only, let me see, I'll just look on Pattern Keeper. It's large, but the stitch count for this piece is 134,000 stitches. So it's not that huge, even though it's large. So yeah, if it was like a Haid supersize, I would most likely not be stitching it because those are too big. I started a Haid supersize once, and I'm not currently still working on it because I quit it, and my plan is to crop it eventually, which it's Eternal Promises, which is a Matt Stewart piece. He's retired on Haid, which sucks because I liked Matt Stewart's artwork. Anyways, also I was going to mention for my WhipGo wheel, I did add my new July pieces to the wheel. The pieces that were added were Rose Library and Fables, which were on my like favorites WhipGo board. And then on my themed board, the numbers that were called was my oldest whip and smallest whip. So for my oldest whip, I picked Tarot Town 2, which it's technically not my oldest whip because I restarted it. So the old version was my oldest whip, but the restart is kind of iffy. But if I had picked my oldest whip, it would have been Templar Prophecy, and I was like, I cannot stitch on it that much this summer because this is not easy to stitch on just being dark fabric. Like, I have my magnifier back here. I put a hat on it so it doesn't like burn the house down, but I have to use my magnifying light to stitch on this piece, and so it's not easy to stitch on this fabric. So I was just like, we're gonna say that it's Tarot Town 2, which is by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Ciro Marchetti, because it technically would have been because it was like my first large full coverage project. And then for smallest whip, it was Northern Lights, which is by Climbing Goats Design on Etsy, and that's one that I want to finish this summer anyways, so I was like, that's perfect. It will give me another chance to possibly work on it if it gets spun. There are so many projects on this wheel, and I am taking projects off once they are spun. So Templar Prophecy, I took it off one of the times because it was worked on once, so as I get to the end of the summer, hopefully there will be less whips on the wheel. I'll probably just keep carrying this wheel into fall because it's just my WhipGo pieces, and I will need to work on them in the fall too. So yeah. Also, this is turning into a lot of alsos. The third part of the Haid 2025 Stitch Along came out yesterday, so they released it early. It was supposed to come out July 1st, and it was only, you know, the 27th when it came out. And so I already put that into Pattern Keeper, and like I moved my progress into the new file, and I am so excited to work on it because I can technically stitch everything that I need to stitch already, and I can park into the lower pages now, which I like to be able to see what's underneath. So if a color needs to be carried into the next page, I can park it underneath. And so I was like, oh my god, I want to work on this, but it wasn't spun yet. So I will be looking forward to working on Drinks on the Beach whenever it is spun. But for now, I am going to go and start stitching on this piece here, Walking in the Rain, and hopefully get some good progress. I am back, and it is currently Thursday, July 3rd, and I have finally met my goal that I had set for Walking in the Rain. So I am at 11%, and I managed to get page 1 is fully filled in. Page 2, the page underneath it is I think page 8, and it's almost fully filled in except for right here. There are some stitches that still need to be stitched, but they went down into the page below, so I decided I would save them for later. And then I went up and was working on page 2 right here. And because this is an artsy chart, the pages aren't as big as some other charts. So like the pages ended like right here. So page 1 was only like 55 stitches wide, so they're not that big. They're kind of mini pages. And so yeah, it wasn't that hard to finally go in and fill in the page, and now I am happy to see like an area filled in. So I enjoyed working on that a lot, which there have been times I worked on this and I did not enjoy it, but filling it in, just it worked because I was stitching over here last year, I think, and I didn't even know what color to pick. I was like, there's so many color changes in this chart that sometimes it was like overwhelming. And so yeah, I just was picking a color, stitching it down, picking a color, stitching it down, and it worked. It went very well, and now I'm at 11%, yay! Because I was looking at my starting picture of this chart in 2024, and then the picture from 2025, they looked almost the same. I was like, I did almost no stitching on this in 2024. So I am happy that at least in 2025, I have, you know, this page finished. This page is basically finished. And then this page here, it's over halfway finished, I think. So the next time I work on it, I will work again on page 2. And then I think I want to try and like fill it in kind of like diagonally. So like go back and forth between filling in a page here and then like carrying it diagonal page finishes, if that makes sense. So I enjoyed walking in the rain. And that was all of my cross stitch though for the last couple of weeks. I did not stitch on Autumn Harmony, which it's sad, but I think I just need a little bit more of a break from that chart. Plus I'm really just liking picking one chart and then working on it and getting, you know, a few thousand stitches into it and then rotating to something else. So I did that for my crochet knitting. I finished my cardigan. This is the Flower Power Wrap cardigan. It's a free pattern on the Yarnspirations website, and you use you use Red Heart Granny Square yarn, and I love this. So it's going to be hard to see, so I might have to try and like insert a picture, but here it is. It has ties that you're supposed to make an I-cord, but I haven't done that yet, and I also just don't know if I will because I kind of just like to have it open. And if I put the ties on, they're supposed to be pretty long because you're supposed to be able to like wrap it fully around your body, I think. And so I don't really want to have really long cords hanging down all the time. So yeah, but I am happy to have it finished. It's my first ever, I think, crocheted garment. I have knit garments before and I have crocheted blankets, but I don't think I've ever actually made a like wearable crochet item that I can think of. So I was very excited with this. I kind of want to make another one and make it a little bit more like fitted because I followed the pattern on this one, and technically there are 3 squares going around the arm. I could technically probably cut one and have like a more fitted cardigan. So I was thinking about using some of the other colors I have because I have like some reds and a blue color and making another cardigan and using this as like a basis of making a different style of cardigan. So that's something I'm thinking about doing eventually because the squares are easy to make as long as the colors work out because the yarn changes colors as you go, and so you need the color changes to line up at the right time. But otherwise it's like an easy project to take with you places because like if you're making like a blanket, it's not really portable because it's big and little squares are easy to take places. So I did that. Knitting, I started working on my socks again, and I am at the foot part of one of my socks and I did the heel turn, the heel and the gusset, and on the other sock I also did the heel flap, the turn, and then the gusset. So I'm getting really close to getting these socks finished, and that's my focus project right now because I focused on the Flower Power cardigan until I got it finished. Then I picked up the socks. I'm going to work on these until they're finished, and then I will either start working on my blanket again, which is back here, or I might take a pause and make a tank top because I kind of want to make a tank top for summer, and it's already July, so if I want to do that, I should start it soon, and then I'll get to the blanket because I had my summer goals and I'm really meeting a lot of them, except for the cross stitch. I feel like I'm doing good on my reading and the knitting and crocheting, and then the cross stitching ones are going a lot slower, but it's fine. And reading, I finished Scythe, so that was a really good book, and I put book 2 on hold at my library, so I don't know how long that will take to get. And then I also read The September House, which was not on my summer goals plans, but it was one that my brother recommended and the library had it in, and that one was like creepy. Lady moves into a haunted house and she moves in with her husband and she just decides she's going to put up with it. You know, housing prices are crazy and it was a gorgeous house, so she was just like, I'm gonna deal with it, it's fine. And so that was an interesting book, and I think, is that all? I'm currently reading a book that I don't really love, so I'm not going to talk about it right now because I don't love it. And so I'll probably talk about it in my next video, like if I actually get it finished or if I decide to DNF it, do not finish, I'm not sure. I don't like not finishing a book once I start it. I don't know why, but once I start it, I feel like, what if it gets better and I just didn't get far enough? And so I keep reading it, and we'll see what I think after I get it finished. But yeah, so far I'm not liking the book I'm currently reading. And then for games, I bought a bunch of games in the Steam summer sale. I bought like 10 games, but it was fine because I had a gift card, and a lot of the games were like $3 and $2 and stuff like that. So I got Borderlands 3, I got Spiritfarer, I'm trying to think of what else. I think Sunhaven, which is supposed to be like Stardew Valley. And the one I'm currently playing is called Planet Crafter, and I love it. You are on a planet, you just like randomly, you know, you just, what's the word? You're just like dumped there in like a little craft thing. And so you're on this planet and you have to survive, but every time you go outside of the little thing, your little pod that you start in, you lose your oxygen, and then you also have water levels that go down and food that goes down, food levels. And so you have to go out into this planet and find the things you need to craft like oxygen tanks. You need cobalt to make an oxygen tank. You need to find ice to craft water. And so you are trying to craft all the things you need to survive on this planet that you are stuck on. And so I'm obsessed with it because like it's just another like, you know, gathering game, like resources game. So you just go around getting your iron and stuff and then being like, no, my oxygen levels are going down. It's crazy. And so I am loving that game. It's really good so far. I am kind of obsessed, so who knows what that will do for my cross-stitching time, because I just want to I keep doing like the whole thing of like, one more thing. I'm just gonna craft this one thing and then I will stop playing, and then I do that, and then like a new thing will pop up in the corner of like, craft this thing, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do that, and then I will turn it off, and it just keeps going. So that is all that I have done though, and I will start making another video right after this where I will be spinning the wheel to pick my next cross-stitch project, which I am very excited to see what it will be because there's a lot of things on that wheel, and I will hopefully see you all in my next video. Also, tomorrow is 4th of July in America. I think this video will try and put it up tomorrow. So if you are in the US, I hope you have a safe 4th of July. Fireworks scare me, so I will not be partaking in the fireworks. But yeah, I hope everyone has a safe day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!